What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of my YouTube channel. My name's Eric, and today we're going to be going over a really interesting camera that I found for $5 at a thrift store here in the Bay Area. Surprisingly, this camera is a lot cheaper than your typical gas prices here, so to find a camera for so cheap, and especially for it being on my wish list, I'm definitely surprised. So this camera is going to be the Pentax IQ Zoom 928. Oh, she sounds like a robot. But this camera is a workhorse of a point and shoot. It has so many features and it takes such clear pictures. And to find it for $5, this camera retails for around 50 to 60 bucks. So to see that and to purchase it, it's been just a really awesome experience. I haven't got a lot of chance to use this camera. I've been focusing in a lot on the Pentax 6.7 that I got last year, and that's been a lot of my attention's been going to. But now I really want to focus in on this camera here, and just start using it a little more than I have, and just start kind of exploring the overall settings this camera has. So to start off, this is a pretty advanced point and shoot camera that has a lot of really interesting settings and features attached to it. So to start off, it does have a landscape mode, which is pretty general. It pretty much means that your camera is going to shoot at the sharpest aperture for clarity. It also has a spot autofocus on here. It has your general flash functions you can turn on and off. It also has a flash night mode and a general night mode. And it also contains a bulb mode, which is something you see more in SLRs, but for whatever reason, they actually decided to include a bulb mode in this actual camera. I haven't got a chance to utilize that feature yet. It looks like you need a remote control to activate that function so your camera doesn't shake. I'm probably gonna have to scour eBay and see if I can even find that, but it does have that option. It also contains the classic red eye reduction, and it also has a 10-second timer, and of course the timer that allows you to activate it with the control that I don't have. This also has a really interesting lens. It's completely glass, so it gives you really clear and beautiful images. It's not going to be like your disposable cameras that are made out of plastic where it starts to vignette and become blurry at the edges. And it also has a zoom lens. You can actually shoot from 28 millimeters all the way up to 90 millimeters. So that's actually really incredible if you're doing street photography. Of course, if you are going to be doing street photography, just be really careful. Once you turn the camera off, it does delete all the settings. I've had issues in the past where I've taken this camera out and I push the shutter release, and before I know it, the flash just kind of goes everywhere, and everyone just kind of turns around and says, what the heck was that? And then people kind of start looking at you like, what is this guy photographing? And you have to kind of like act like you don't know how to use the camera, right? We've all done that. But for the most part, it's a crazy camera. Not to mention that it also has a panoramic mode that I haven't really used yet. When I do this particular feature, in the actual viewfinder, it turns into kind of like a panoramic. I'm not sure exactly how that would look like in a picture, but definitely excited to check that out. Maybe it's something I can post later on about. The camera is 100% motorized. You will need a battery to have it work, and everything is automatic. So once you click the shutter release button, your next exposure gets automatically cued in, and then also once the roll is done, it automatically will go back into the canister. Surprisingly, this camera does have the ability for you to put in the date if you'd like that. The only downside of this camera is that it did come out in 1994, and the last date that is on this is 2019, and then it resets back to 94, which is fairly interesting. So you could do that. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're gonna do like a vintage shoot or something, and it's 90s related, you can put like 1994 and the little red. You'll see the little date will come out on red on the picture, and it looks really vintage and old school and fun to do. So that's a cool setting to have overall. So I've been shooting black and white in this camera, and it works really well. Just keep in mind that this is a point and shoot camera, so your canisters will have to be DX coded in order to work. On the film, you have to have the code. If you don't have the code on the film, then it's probably not going to work as well as you think. But for the most part, I've used this camera maybe twice now. I really wanted to share this camera with everyone and take everyone on a little trip with me to San Francisco and show you what this camera can do and the pictures it can take. So I'm gonna load this up with some Tri-X 400. We're gonna go ahead and explore San Francisco and see what kind of photographs we can get. So let's see what we can get, and let's get out there.